To perform the Copenhagen plank, we're gonna need an elevated surface. Now, keep in mind, the higher the surface, the more challenging the exercise is gonna be. The lower, the easier. So ideally, we have something like a flat bench that's at like a moderate surface, or even just like a plyo box or something like that that's a little bit lower, but ideally something that has some space underneath it so that we can extend that bottom leg when we're ready to make it a little bit more challenging. So to start out, we're gonna start with the regressed version, so just a bent knee. We're gonna place that knee on top of that surface, and ideally we want a surface that's a little bit softer. So if you're using something like a plyo box, just laying down like a foam pad or a yoga mat over it, just to make sure that the contact on the knee isn't aggravating, is definitely a good idea. So for this, we want to think about maintaining a straight line from the knee through the hip to the shoulder. So we're gonna push through that bottom shoulder, make sure that we're not sagging in the spine, making sure that it's nice and neutral, hips stay forward, and then when we're ready, we're going to lift up, drive the hip forward, and we should feel the work on the inner thigh and the adductor muscle, making sure that we're not rotating open, but staying in a straight line and not too closed there either, right? So a straight line, hip forward, and then should be able to feel that working. If I want to make it a little bit more difficult, I can extend that bottom leg just a bit, which should increase the tension there. If I want to make it a little bit easier, I can draw that foot up and it just brings the weight closer to my center of gravity, making it a little bit more manageable there, but still challenging, okay? If that is too difficult, what you can do is you can use a yoga block. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring, let's say I'm working my left side, I'm gonna use that, so left side goes back on that yoga block, and then the right leg is gonna go out in front of the yoga block. I'm gonna assume the same kind of position, so straight line, and it allows me to just push into it and start working in that area without needing to go on a high elevated surface. So I should be able to feel that same kind of muscle working, making sure not to put too much pressure on that front leg, but to keep pressure back so it's on that side. So I'll show you from the opposite side so you can see. So this would be the right leg working, the left leg goes out in front. I'm gonna get into that side plank position. I'm gonna push down through my right knee to lift myself into that position, and I should start to feel a little bit in that adductor muscle. So again, just a nice regressed version if we're not ready for something that high. If we are ready for something a little bit more challenging, the way that we progress the Copenhagen plank is by increasing the distance. So rather than going from the knee, we're going to place our foot and ankle up on that surface, and then the same kind of rules apply. So straight line, making sure to keep that leg straight. We're gonna lift up, and if we're ready for it, we can extend that bottom leg. If that's a little bit too challenging, we're gonna bring that leg a little bit closer, and then just hold for the prescribed amount of time. And as you progress, hold it for a little bit longer, making sure that we're putting tension in the right places, maintaining good positioning to make sure that we're actually feeling it all in the right place.